Nella, how are you? If you can hear me. You're
I
on.
can hear you. Hi, Bradley. Hi to everyone. You should see me by now as well.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Do I need to promote Victoria? Is Victoria part of this as well?
Victoria will actually not join us today. She's in lovely Rome. So,
She's doing something a whole lot more interesting than listening to me ramble. Thank you for being here. I'm going to make you host.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Appreciate Klopotek being part of this. You should be able to share your screen.
Yeah, let me figure this out. I actually have the same issue. We are using primarily Teams, so I'm a little bit Zoom rusty. So just let me know if I share my complete screen, and you should be able to see everything right now.
I can see it. All you need to do is make that bigger, and
yeah,
you can.
I will. Perfect. Okay, just let me move this a little bit. Can you still hear me? Because I
yes, can still hear you.
Perfect. Okay. Good. Well, I am blown away by what we've seen so far. And I'm very happy that actually I can contribute to this discussion, but a little bit from a different point of view. For just let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Nella. I work for Klopotek, and I'm working in our UX UI department. And are with this responsible for our product line Stream, and to make sure that it is as user-friendly as possible and support publishers with all their needs. And today I want to discuss this topic of the emerging audio market as well, but a little bit from the point of view to say, how can you actually manage and maintain your audio metadata? So I go down to the nitty-gritty of the publishing business. And as we saw earlier, we have here a huge emerging market. I'm just going to start with this, which brings so many new opportunities, new players, new technology, new enhancements. I think what we've seen was really amazing. And with this also obviously changes a little bit the importance of a product, right? And we see that the audiobook itself is not anymore just like a little sister product of the traditional print product, but it is more and more becoming independent. It has a standalone character, and it has also the tendency to really address a new target audience. We see that the emergent audio market is booming all over the world. We heard it earlier also from Wonderword that especially in Scandinavia, we see a huge explosion of audio content and interest in audio content. And with this also new platforms, new services, new business models, and so on. So this is really, really great. And it offers a lot of opportunities. And with that, also inevitably open new customers and user segments for publishers. The question is, how does publisher work with it? How can publisher get into this market, and how can we then in the end also contribute? So we see that publishers have different marketplaces in different regions, different languages, and we need to make sure that the content we provide can also support this. The platforms need to be supported. Various distribution channels pop up. We see, especially in the pandemic, the increasing revenue in the audio market was amazing. And yeah, the new platforms I think we covered today in a lot of amazing presentations. So let us come to the other side of the medallion, which is with new opportunities obviously come also more challenges. And what does this mean for the publisher, right? For example, how do you find the best model to sell your products? Are flat rates or subscription valid business models? Are they bringing in the revenue expect, and are they covering the cost? how do you find the best licensing model between you as an original publisher and maybe your audiobook publisher, and how can you establish there the relationship and the contribution? And if you have established that, obviously also the question, how do you assure fair royalty payments to your originator, that this is all calculated correctly? Is this very important? How do you make your audiobooks visible on different platforms? How do you support different and various distribution channels? And how do you bring your audiobooks in the market? I think we saw this in the beginning from a marketing point of view. I'm sure we talk about this a little bit later. We went into everything which plays into, and in the end, it always comes down to good metadata and how you manage it, right? This is your bread and butter. And we, on our side, ask ourselves, how can we as a software provider and how can we in Klopotek actually support you with this task, and tailor the system you work with really to your business model. And I just going to give you a very quick preview of how or what kind of requirements we discussed and what is necessary. So I'm going to open up my software. You should see it. I hope the screen resolution is big enough and you can read it. And we start right in the beginning, right, with creating new products, creating new titles, and in this case, really audio titles, and not just the alternative format to a product, which an audiobook often is, which is also great, but sometimes you don't want to see it as an alternative product. You want to see it as an independent standalone one. So you do have to when it comes to efficiency and safety and also to reduce errors, we said your system should support templates, and it should support templates in a way that you can, from the beginning, when you start, for example, just to draft an idea, you want to have your workflow streamlined as smooth as possible. And there you don't want to deal with generalized templates. You want to be able to really narrow it down to an audiobook template. So I just choose here my draft audiobook template and I open up our development screen. And then additionally, next to what is your base, we also said we want to create a software and a system which supports your business process and your business model. And with this, not to force you to learn a clunky application, but actually to have a system which is streamlined and tailored to your needs. So we decided to really put a focus on also supporting various workflows, if it is the traditional print workflow or an ebook workflow, but also in this case, we said with the changes in the market, the software needs to be adaptable to an audiobook and the process of an audiobook. So I choose a scenario which defines the workflow as specifically tailored to the creation of an audiobook. And then you see that I load my screen, and if I scroll down, you also see here are the pre-populated fields based on my template, so it makes it more efficient. You see that it's really reduced to just a subset of metadata. And for everyone in editorial who works with computer systems, you know that there are like 150, 200, 250 attributes where you can drill down in your metadata. And that can be overwhelming, right? And especially if you have a specific topic like audiobooks, where you don't want to see every 250 attributes in the beginning, maybe never, because you don't want to have a screen cluttered with hard book specifications. It is really important that the system adapts to what you see and really narrows it down so that it's intuitive to enter your data and not just to really click through fields. So I'm going to enter my title, say this is my audiobook today. And then next to being able to enter information, this system should also know what you enter. So obviously I want to have an author for my audiobook, but there's not just, I'm going to just choose one. I always like to do my productions. So I choose Maxi Bleibtreu. And then my system should also know the nitty-gritties of my business. So we in audio, one of the best examples is, I think, the differentiation between a read by and a narrator, right? You have this is a difference. If you define a read by, you use also a different Onyx code than a narrator. And if you have a narrator for your audiobook, you probably have more than one. So the system should know these fine details, and it should know to how to support it. So I can choose here read by and link it to an author or a contributor, originator. For example, I know that Moore Carey is always working with these type of books, or I define my specific narrators. Now I can just very quickly generate a short title. I go down, I see that all my information is pre-filled based on my template. Obviously, I could also adjust it, but it's very important to have the settings right. And then we come to the classifications, which are so important for bringing your products in the market. So they should be there from the beginning, even if it's just a draft. You know what the basic is, right? So I can obviously enter my standards with Thema. But I also want to be able to enter my audience. I don't want to have a workaround. I want to really specifically say what is going to be the audience I address with my product. So I choose these in the beginning to have them set. This is my audience general trade, and then I save this whole thing. And it we're going to go in one step further. It will reload it and will make sure that it is from the beginning in your audio content process. I will not bore you more with entering data. I will just have a very quick look into a more mature title to show more requirements we said are necessary to support this emerging market and publishers' needs in the process, which is, you see this now, you see I have way more fields because my title is shortly before it is announced. So my system actually matured with my title, and it gives me the opportunity to enter more information. So I get my standard things like my basic title information. I can work with my originators. I can define my identifiers. But very importantly, I also have a dedicated area where I work really with my specifications. And here I don't want to see print specification. I want to see print specification when I create a print product. But in this case, I actually want to have a tailored information to my audiobook. So for example, durations, file size, number of tracks, disc. If I think about our presentation from earlier, we should also enhance the system maybe with a question of what's the Lexile score of the audiobook to really be able to save this in my metadata. Metadata is the one part to enter it. And now the question is, how do we maintain it and how do we manage it? You probably see here this little exclamation mark. And it leads to a very important window because this one is your quality. Quality of metadata is, I think, all of you who work with titles and creating titles and exporting them and sending them into various distribution channels know how important metadata quality is to actually sell your product. And actually to make it visible also on platforms. So we decided to say we want to have integrated quality checks so that we make sure that what is sent out of our system also fulfills certain standards, which are set by the publisher themselves, but also fulfill the standards out of the industry. And if I want to have a more detailed look actually into these qualities, just gonna need to change move the screen a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna open this same title in our 360-degree view, which is like a dashboard you can, as a user, configure to what you want to see, to metadata of your product, to sales, to marketing information and whatsoever. But in this case, I want to see my product quality of my metadata, and I want to see it not just specifically or not just in general. I want to see it to my audio content. So I see here my overall status. I see how much time I have left for publication. I know where I am in my workflow, and I do see a big warning that I have quality issues. As long as this is red, it's blocked. I cannot publish my title, because if I publish my title without correct and good quality of metadata, it's going to be a hassle and a huge work to actually correct this. So the title is blocked as long as I have not resolved these issues. And if I drill down into details, I really said, or we said, we want to provide publishers with the possibility to, yes, check your general things like, are my identifiers set? Are they following a correct ISBN structures? Do we have the distribution information set? But with these new formats and new product forms emerging, we also want to be able to tailor to their needs and to make sure the data you send out is correct. So here are some dedicated rules, really checking your audio specifications. For example, I can see, is there a narrator defined? Is there a reader defined? I can see, are my distributions rights set, right? Because audiobooks often are the alternative format to a print product, and the rights vary, or you need to make sure that the acquired rights you have for this audiobook are fitting to the contract you have. So this is something you need to check before you send it out. I see I have actually a blocker in my audio content, so I can see here on my keyword set is theme and bisect available, but also is my cover picture included for export. So it's important not just to say, is something there, but is it valid, and does it have the right setting? Is it really included in my Onyx export? Is it included in all my various exports I have? Or regarding the audio specification, for example, I see, is the duration entered, right? I cannot send something out, even if I announce it, without saying how long is this? Is the number of tracks entered, and so on. So we said it is one side to enter specific metadata, it's the other side to really make sure that the quality is there, because as long as the quality is not there, you will not reach your sales margin and sales success your books and your products deserve. That's just a very quick view into, I will go back into our slide set and have a look back to the questions we had. And then the question is, how do we deal with this? Obviously, we saw that the appearance in different markets requires metadata, classification, blurbs, and these needs to be adjusted to market, region, and culture. I need to be able to really tailor it to this. I need to have good visibility and search engine optimization. And with this, I need to have good metadata quality. With what we saw today, is more and more cooperation between publishers, distributor, various platforms, and selling platforms. And under all of it, you need to tag your products with metadata. Onyx experts need to fulfill, obviously, the international standards. I mean, you promoted Brian earlier already. You will have your fire talk with him in a little bit. I think committees like BISG, Editor, BookNet Canada are the most important things we have in this industry to rely on topics like this. So they will help you with this. And overall, from our point of view, you need to have a system that is flexible enough to support you with your emergent business models, with changing business models, and needs to evolve with you to fulfill the growing market. That's very briefly from my side. Helpful resources, again, shout out to the people who knows best. The best practice guides by Editor are really great. BookNet Canada did some great material down to the nitty-gritty of Onyx and audio metadata. BISG has something coming up there, so stay close to your international committees. That would be it from me. If you have any additional questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Otherwise, you can also reach out via email or find everything on our website. We are very straightforward there.
Nella, great job. Yeah, great job with this. I'm going to hit reclaim host, and I'm going to say stop sharing there. Yeah, so we love y'all with Klopotek. You do a great job. We won't hold George Logan against you, but no, he's great, and it's been fun watching y'all put the podcast together that he's been working on. I think the last time I saw you was years before the pandemic. Was it London or I think it was in London, and seems a long time ago, and looking forward to that. You did a great job walking through that. Thank you for being part of DBW Global with us. We appreciate you and Klopotek and your time.
Of course, always.
And when I put you back as an attendee, make sure you put your email and website in there too. Nella, thank you very much. Good to see you. And we'll keep right on rolling here.